The word innovation is kind of a funny word. A lot of you might not think you're responsible for innovation. We hear the word innovation, and who do we think of? We think of Steve Jobs. We think it's for cool people who get to develop cool products. I was on the CNBC show, The Business of Innovation, with Maria Bartiromo, and we were talking about innovation. It was one of these weird American talk shows. Everybody's yelling at everybody else. But I managed to get my key point in. And my key point to her was that, Maria, innovation is about much more than people who develop new products. Innovation is having a leader and a team who works for that leader who are continually challenging themselves with three questions. What can I do to run this business better? What can I do to grow this business? And what can I do to transform this business? And think about what you've been focused on for the last 2 years since the economic downturn hit. How do I run the business better? How do I save cost? How do I introduce more efficiency? How do I become more streamlined in terms of what I'm doing so I can manage the business? By virtue of necessity, a lot of you have been focused on innovation from the perspective of what do I need to do to run the business better? But how many of you right now are focused on perhaps the more important goals? How do we grow the business? How do we grow the membership? How do we grow the number of municipal visits? How do we get more people interested in this sport? How do we broaden our reach throughout society? And more importantly, how do we transform the game? How do we challenge the tradition and think about transformation in terms of who we're bringing into the sport, into the nature of the sport, in terms of the impact of interactivity upon the sport? Let's do one more quick little survey and get a sense of where you've been focused so everybody in the room can see, what we've been concentrating upon in terms of those three issues. So again, you send your text message to 22333. Right now as a Club Pro, my biggest priority is running the business better. Punch in 107421. So Club Pro, if your priority is growing the business, send your message to 22333, and your choice is 107429. What innovators do is they go into work every single day and they challenge themselves with those three questions. And they encourage their team to think about those three questions. They encourage the ground superintendent, the golf superintendent, what are you going to continue to do to run the business better? What can you do in terms of the developments that you see with agro-science and the rapid evolution of change with genetics involving turf, to help me transform what we're doing with our operations? Where can we collaborate more with other clubs across the country so that we're gaining faster, better insight into the trends which might permit us more growth? It's all about continually challenging yourself from those three perspectives as to what you can be doing to deal with a faster future. I think we have consensus in the room. Some of us are still focused on running the business better. Perhaps we're in the areas of the country where we're still a little bit more economically challenged. But the vast majority, the big issue, the big opportunity, and the big focus over the next 3 days is what do we do to continue to grow the business? And beyond that, what do we do to transform the business? Well, let's talk about some of the trends that you need to think about as you confront those two challenges, as we go forward into the future.